Street protests were a daily routine in Brazil a year ago, and there is concern that larger demonstrations could disrupt this year's World Cup. Brazilian authorities see the crowd control as one of their key tasks for the tournament. CCTV's Paulo Cabral reports on how the police in the historic city are preparing for the event.
The anti-bomb squad of the Ceará State Police Department is training hard for the 2014 World Cup. They have recently received new gear and a robot. The team is preparing to use the equipment during the event, even though they hope it won't be necessary.
It's important that we train these skills because it's not the kind of threat we're used to here. We don't have to deal with terrorists using bombs, but with globalization, these threats can be anywhere, so we have to be ready to neutralize any threat if it arises.
But if terrorist attacks in tropical Fortaleza may seem a more far-fetched possibility, even during a big international event, there's another issue which could impact other host cities as well. Street protests. Last year, during the Confederations Cup, thousands of people marched in rallies against the tournament and the government. Police clashed with the more violent groups, but even peaceful protesters were caught in the violence. These two university students were among them. They wanted to reach the Fortaleza arena, but were stopped by the police a couple of miles away from the stadium.
It's right for the police to attack groups who are using violence, like the Black Blocs. But these protests are so much more than that. The problem is that because of a minority of disorderly people, we are all seen as violent.
To deal more efficiently with the security threats, authorities bet on technology. The police commissioner in charge of the 2014 World Cup planning says the idea is to act fast, before problems grow out of control.
Protesting is a democratic and legitimate way to put demands forward. But what we have to stop are unlawful protests that try to prevent people from moving around or disrupting the World Cup. It's likely protests will happen, but police will be prepared to respond with the necessary, proportionate force.
More than 100 cameras have been distributed in key spots of Fortaleza to try and guarantee the security of visitors and of more than 2.5 million people who live here permanently. Brazilian security forces had to invest heavily in training and new technology to be prepared for the World Cup. The state of Ceará, for example, has just set up this new command and control center. It will be essential for the World Cup, but maybe more importantly, it will help to fight crime for years to come. Paulo Cabral, CCTV América, Fortaleza.